Hey guys, how's it going? Phoenix Mech here, and today I will be going over my top 10 best dinos needed for kibble on the island map in Ark Survival Evolved. So you can do this with 6 dinos, but it doesn't have the same ring to it as a top 5 or a top 10 list. So I put a couple other dinos in this list that could be an alternative based on how you like to play. My picks are based on how I play the game and trying to complete story gameplay. This guide is to focus more on a mini spotlight on each of the dinos you need for kibble as opposed to the kibble itself. I made a guide already explaining all about kibble, which you can check out if you have trouble with it. If you find this video useful, be sure to give it a like, as it helps me out a lot and I do appreciate it. Share with your friends and consider subscribing for more helpful tips, tricks, and guides on how to play the game. So when starting your kibble farm, you will need a dino that produces eggs at each tier of kibble: basic, simple, regular, superior, exceptional, and extraordinary. So that's 6 dino types. You will need at least 1 male and 1 female to do this. I suggest 3 females at least for each tier of kibble. More females mean more chances to get the eggs that you need. I also suggest taming the lowest level possible unless you're actually using the dino for your main mount, caves, or boss battles. Now on to the list. At number 10 is the Parasaur. These guys are probably a lot of survivors' first tames, which means you accidentally got an egg or 2 from them. They're littered in a lot of the beginner areas in South Zone. You will need a bola to tame as they run off as soon as you attack, and it's hard to catch up to them unless they get caught on something. Depending on the level, you can either punch it out or club it if you don't have trank arrows yet. Then just tame with berries. This is a great early mount as a backpack and also a rideable mount. Not really a fighter though, just good as a mobile storage box. Useful for beginners, but the next dino is my preference for eggs at basic tier. At number 9 is the Dodo. These goofy looking birds are littered everywhere throughout the island map. Easy enough to tame, you can just punch them out with your fist, as sometimes a weapon can be too much for them. They tame up with berries and boom, you got your Dodo, which makes it easy to tame multiples as well. Out of all the dinos in the game, these guys produce the most eggs the quickest, which is a good boost to start your farm and leads me into the next dino. At number 8 is the Oviraptor. A skittish little guy, they tend to flee as soon as you approach them. They are also scattered throughout the island. You will need a bola or a trap to tame them, and you will need eggs to tame them up as it is their preferred food. So if you did this in order, dodos you tame first, and then get the eggs to tame the Oviraptor. Now this isn't a dino that's useful in fights. This dino you put in your kibble farm to boost egg production for mate boosted creatures. Basically it helps you get more eggs. Just set on wander and an egg icon will show up on any dino affected by this. You can choose to weigh them down or keep them in the pen to make sure they don't wander off. At number 7 is the Pteranodon. This is a flyer that helps you get around the map a bit easier. These dinos are also littered throughout the map, so it shouldn't be a hard time finding one. You will need a bola, and anyone can be taken down with 2 shots to the head with a crossbow. A club will also work if you have some points in melee. Use prime or raw meat to tame. Flyers help put you at a safe distance away from danger, but if you're not high enough level to craft the saddle, then they can provide some extra backup. Depending on if you like flyers or ground mounts is where you'll make your choice. At the same tier, we also have the next dino. At number 6 is the Raptor. This is an aggressive fast dino located almost everywhere on the map. They have a large aggro range and usually spawn in packs. You will need a bola or a trap to tame. Trank arrows or higher are recommended with this dino. Be careful while taming it as it can still attack you from the front. When knocked out, use prime or raw meat to tame. This can be a great carnivore mount for early on hide and meat due to its speed and size. Taming up multiple will initiate a pack bonus buff, which is good for you. If you have one at a higher level, it can be even used to tackle some of the caves. At number 5 is the Ankylosaurus. This armored dino tends to wander around some of the worst areas of the islands, mountains, cliffs, and just bad areas, with the exception of Herbivore Island, which is always my first choice to go for Ankylos. They are really slow, so you can literally walk backwards while taming it. Just be careful of getting too close as it will swing at you if it can. They tame up using just berries. There are many other dinos at this tier you can tame, but my main reason for using Ankylos is they gather everything with the exception of fiber. So you can adjust different Ankylos stats depending on if they're going to gather metal, or if they're going to gather berries, or even oil. They're mainly used for gathering metal, but I will literally use them for everything even though there are other gathering dinos better at that particular resource. It's like, why tame multiple dinos when you can tame one, right? At number 4 is the Argentavis. This eagle-looking bird is big and mean, usually found on the mountains and colder areas of the map. They can be tracked out on foot, but when they flee it's a little tougher to get them down, so some type of trap is recommended. Use prime or raw meat to tame. I suggest prime due to the amount of time it takes. Usually more of the apex predators do take a long time to tame, so usually prime or mutton is suggested. Once tamed, this is one of the best mounts on the island due to the versatility. The RG can heal itself from eating dinos it kills, it's strong, and is able to take down most of the dinos on this map with ease. It also has a decent amount of weight, which makes it a great resource gatherer with a reduced weight, especially with long distance runs. It also has a smithy, along with the capability of picking up a bunch of dinos. So, say you need more of the lower kibble dinos, well, this guy just made it easier. You will only need one to play the game, but some people use multiple for breeding purposes, which will result in more eggs. At number 3 is the Therizinosaur. This fuzzy baby Rex is usually found along a lot of the beaches and streams on the island. These dinos are as strong as a Rex and can damage stone, so taming them can be a little problematic. A trap is recommended. Stone will work as long as you knock it out fast enough. Despite its behavior and appearance, it doesn't eat meat, but berries. They are great at harvesting a ton of resources, most notably wood, hide, chitin, and fiber. If you wanted to, a group of Theries can be bred and mutated to fight the boss battles. They also have the benefit of being the smallest dino in the extra large egg tier, so if you're limited on space, this is the dino to go with. I do, however, recommend getting Theries first to be able to make kibble to tame your next dino. At number 2 is the Rex. This king of the lizards is located mostly in colder areas on the mountains, but can also be found scattered throughout the warmer areas. They usually spawn in pairs, so you could definitely get lucky with finding a high-level breeding pair. Taming them is pretty straightforward, build a trap and guide them in. However, their attention span is terrible, so it's recommended to be on a mount that can tank their attacks until they're in the pen. Use prime meat due to the length of the tame. You can use Rexes to gain massive amounts of hide to craft late game blueprints. If you get a Rex, most likely you'll be breeding them for bosses, so tons of eggs incoming. And at number 1 is the Yutyrannus. Also another fuzzy Rex, this one is located in and around the edges of the snow biome. A very annoying tame to take down as they usually spawn with Carnos, which you'll have to take out, along with the worry of being fear-roared and losing control over the mount you're on. A trap is recommended and you'll have to lead them in on foot. Once inside, it's no problem to trank and they tame up with prime meat. If you're going into your boss battles with Rexes, then you're gonna want to bring a Yutyrannus with you. Their roar offers damage buff to allied dinos and reduces incoming damage as well. They are almost as strong as a Rex, so have the capability of behaving as such. Now, here's a really OP tip for everyone who made it to the end of this video. Because of the way the kibble system is, you only need one type of kibble, which would be the extraordinary kibble. Extraordinary kibble will work on every dino that takes kibble on the island map. So in theory, your kibble farm can just be made of Yutyrannus and you're set. Problem is, they're a bit annoying to tame, but once you have a pair, you can breed them for more females and be good. You would need a lot though, as their egg drop rate isn't as frequent, and this is probably something you wouldn't be able to do unless you're already somewhat established. Also, using kibble of this quality on lesser dinos kinda seems like a waste, but honestly, that's your call to make. But that's it! Phoenix Mech's top 10 best dinos for kibble on the island map in Ark Survival Evolved. So what do you guys think? Are these some of your picks? Leave a comment down below. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along with my Ark playthrough series where I give many helpful tips and tricks on how to play the game. Be sure to check out my kibble guide to help you with your recipes. Thanks for watching, and take care.